Hello, and welcome to Boomerang, West Lothian's weekly talking newspaper. It's Friday the 18th of October 2024, and this evening it's a full team too who are bringing you the local news from around the county, which is taken from this week's Courier with permission. I'm Rebecca, and also reading for us tonight are Joanne, Jane and Sarah. Diane is in charge of the recording and editing, which we all very much appreciate. I see we are getting ready over the weekend for Storm Ashley, while batten down the hatches on Sunday. Now, I don't think there's anything in the postbag, so we can go on with the news.
Mechanic gutted by 30k tool theft. Dad is worried sick after crooks take the gear he needs to work. A West Lothian dad is gutted after thieves stole his new work van and £30,000 worth of tools. Pete Fleming is in the process of setting up his own business, Autofix Brothers, with his younger brother, but the mechanics have had a spanner in the works after a work van containing all their tools was nicked. The incident took place on Lonefoot Road, Uphall, shortly before 4 a.m. on Tuesday, October the 15th. Pete has recently welcomed his second child into the world and was celebrating his 30th birthday on Monday, October the 14th, prior to the theft outside his family home. The blue MK6 transit van is distinguishable with an Autofix Brothers logo on the front and gold rims on the tyres. Pete has asked for members of the public to come forward and contact police if they have any information relating to the incident. Our whole business is in the van, he said. I'm not even bothered about the van, but about the £30,000 worth of tools which were in it. My younger brother and I are setting up a garage, and the whole business relies on these tools. It has left us unable to trade, with a massive financial hole we are going to have to fix. I'm gutted, absolutely gutted. Everything is at a standstill now, and my family rely on me to bring the money in. I have 2 kids. One is a newborn, my wife is on maternity leave, and my brother and customers are relying on me. I feel everyone has been let down. I honestly do not care about the van. I just want the tools back. There are too many emotions at the moment. I don't know whether to laugh or greet. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "We received a report of the theft of a van from a property on Lonefoot Road, Uphall, between 11 p.m. on Monday, October the 14th and 8 a.m. on Tuesday, October the 15th. Inquiries are ongoing."
Heartbreak at death of loved lion. Devastated staff at Five Sisters Zoo have announced the death of one of their beloved rescue lions. Rehomed at Five Sisters Zoo in 2015, Twin 2 and his 3 brothers had been rescued by Belgian authorities after enduring years of suffering in a travelling circus. In a Facebook post, the zoo said, "It is with heavy hearts that we share the news of the passing of our beloved rescue lion, lovingly known as Twin 2. For the past few weeks, Twin 2 had faced age-related health challenges, and even with the dedicated efforts of our veterinary and keeping teams, the difficult decision was made today to let him go." The zoo continued. "Upon their arrival, our keepers struggled to tell Twin 2 apart from his brothers, leading to the affectionate nicknames Twin 1 and Twin 2. These names quickly became cherished and permanent as they grew into their new home. Despite a tough start to life, we take great comfort in knowing he experienced 9 years filled with love and peace, reaching a wonderful age in a safe environment. Twin 2, your roar will be deeply missed throughout the zoo." Animal lovers took to the zoo's Facebook site to tell how much the lions meant to them. Ellen Buchanan said, "They had a great life since you rescued them, as do all the other animals you rescue and care for." Angela Queenan added, "So sorry to hear this. Everyone at the FSZ should take comfort in all the care and love you gave him since his rescue. So proud to have helped and taken part in the donations for helping to rescue these wonderful, beautiful animals. Thinking of you all, at the FS said. Gavin Wilson added, so sad that another of these beautiful animals is no longer with us. Thanks for giving those rescue animals the best years of their lives. Carry on the good work in rehoming the animals that others abuse and take advantage of.
Council pleads for cash to build more new homes, and this is an article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian Council will ask Holyrood to increase funding for council housing and reverse cuts to budgets as two key planks to tackle the housing emergency it faces. Housing Minister Paul McLennan will also be urged to suspend legislation which has helped fuel West Lothian's housing crisis. The SNP branded that crisis, especially the millions spent on B&B accommodation, as being as self-inflicted. The council was causing real misery and distress, said housing spokesman Councillor Robert DeBold. The Housing Services Policy Development and Scrutiny Panel, also known as PDSP, heard proposals for the Housing Emergency Action Plan. It outlines an 8-point plan to take back to Housing Minister Paul McLennan following a meeting he had with senior councillors and housing officers in Livingston in July. The action plan proposes an urgent meeting with the Minister of Housing, whereby the council is represented by the Executive Councillor for Housing Services and appropriate senior officers. The Scottish Government increases the revenue grant funding made available to the Council in 2024-25 to £297,000 in support of the Council's rapid rehousing transition plan, and that the Scottish Government immediately reverses its decision to cut the affordable housing programme budget by 26%. Other demands include the suspension of the removal of local connection for the duration of the national housing emergency, and urges the Scottish Government to take action to address lengthy delays by energy suppliers in replacing or updating meters, the latter being a major reason for the delays in getting empty homes back to the market for let. The removal of the local connection allows anybody to demand to be housed by West Lothian Council. Previously, to qualify, you had to show a family connection to be housed in the region. Answering questions from Councillor Andrew Maguire on Holyrood's own declaration of housing emergency, Marjorie Backey, Housing Strategy and Development Manager, told the meeting that West Lothian had been promised an extra £2 million funding from the Scottish Government for acquisitions of former council homes to build up housing stock. The SNP Group housing spokesman, Councillor Robert DeBold, said, I feel the need for many of these measures have been self-inflicted by the Labour Conservative administration. Over a 12-year tenure in office, the administration has refused to build sufficient housing stock. Each year they shrug their shoulders and claim insufficient funding. Councillor DeBold referred to the motion he had made at the last budget meeting earlier this year, which would have doubled the council house construction programme. It was fully costed and approved by officers, and you voted it down. We could have an extra additional 388 council houses, yet we are spending £2 million a year on hotels and B7B to house B&B to house 170 people per night. It makes zero financial sense. Councillor Maguire said, I would urge Councillor DeBold to learn more about housing. He might discover that far from being the only authority with housing issues, they are widespread, which obviously led to the Scottish Government declaring their own housing emergency. Council housing plays only a fraction of the role in housing people adequately, and we have a very strong record on both council house building, as do our partners in the registered social landlord sector. I welcome the proactive approach we have already taken about this. I think nationally there has to be a good conversation about how we want housing to look as we go forward. We need to continue to have discussion and dialogue to get a place which takes pressure off the council financially, but ultimately gives constituents and residents in West Lothian proper decent homes and a place they can set down roots. I think the current minister has shown a more proactive approach, and that's to be welcome. Councillor George Paul said, "We didn't declare a housing emergency lightly. Every other council declared a housing emergency for the same simple reason that the Scottish Government did not or will not fund more extra housing."
Health bosses object to care service plans, and this is an article by Stuart Somerville. The body which oversees social care in West Lothian has added its name to the growing list of objectors to plans for a national care service. While welcoming some elements in proposed national standards, the Integration Joint Board has opposed management by ministers and a centrally appointed board. Members reinforced their belief in the need for local accountability and local solutions to local problems. At the recent meeting, the IJB, which has 4 West Lothian councillors among its voting members, the board approved its response to the Holyrood consultation on the second stage of the National Care Service Bill. The bill was introduced in the Scottish Parliament in 2022 and it's faced frequent delays. Last week, it was revealed the total cost of the plan so far had exceeded £28 million. The consultation response had been considered by a subcommittee of the IJB, but was agreed with no additional comment at the meeting of the full board. As with West Lothian Council's response, there are some elements which the bill proposed are supported. These include general principles and national agreement on commissioning of services. However, in response to proposals to reform the current integration board system, which has only been in place for a decade, the board responded, reforming current integration authorities, which would be accountable to the national board, would have implications for local democratic accountability. The IJB response called for further clarity of local involvement in new bodies and also clarity on future funding models. The board added, while the IJB recognises that there is a role for a national approach and consistency in relation to national improvement, standards and oversight, it's not clear that this is best progressed through the development of a National Care Service Board. The provisions for the National Care Service Board to remove members of a National Care Service local board, including locally elected members, this proposal has serious implications for local democratic accountability. The board has also rejected proposals to bring children's services and justice social work into the remit of a national service. On children's services, the board said, the transfer of these services risks creating disconnects with early years provision, education and housing, and homelessness services, etc. It therefore continues to be the IJB's view that the inclusion of children's services should be a decision that is taken at a local level. The board added that justice services have already undergone significant reform and changes in recent years, and the evidence is clear that better access to welfare, housing and employability assistance, as well as healthcare, have an important role in reducing or even preventing offending. Similarly, the shift away from short prison sentences needs effective evidence-based community interventions. It continues to be the IJB's view that the inclusion of social work justice services should be a decision that is taken at a local level. Last month, West Lothian councillors slammed the plans, which they say would centralise care services. A meeting of West Lothian's executive board claims that it will potentially cost an extra £1.5 billion to establish a centralised service managed by Holyrood ministers. The plan has been rejected by many councils individually, COSLA, the umbrella body for Scotland's local authorities, and major health unions.
Tributes to political icon Alex Salmond. Outpouring of condolences after shock death. Tributes have been paid to former First Minister Alex Salmond following his sad death at the weekend. Mr. Salmond was born in Linlithgow in 1954 and died suddenly from a suspected heart attack while attending a conference in Macedonia on Saturday. The 69-year-old was born in Linlithgow on Hogmanay, where he attended school and sang as a soprano in St Michael's Parish Church. From there, he went on to study economics and medieval history at the University of St Andrews, where he joined the SNP in 1973. After his academic studies, the radical young activist set his sights on the end of the United Kingdom and spent his further political career solely working to bring Scotland independence. Alex Salmond will be remembered as one of the most iconic political figures of his generation. As leader of the SNP, he brought Scotland closer to independence from the United Kingdom than at any other time in the Union's 300-year history during the 2014 referendum. Defeat for the Yes campaign in that vote ended his 7-year tenure as the country's First Minister, during which time he solidified the SNP as the dominant force in Scottish politics. He was divisive amongst the political elite, yet able to unite Scotland's pro-independence base. He later established the Alapa Party to continue the cause for independence, leading to several high-profile figures defecting from the SNP under Nicola Sturgeon to join him. Accusations of sexual assault during his time at Bute House rocked the Scottish political sphere and irreparably damaged his relationship with his former protégé after Salmond was found not guilty. He remained one of the country's most visible pro-independence presences. His former SNP colleagues in West Lothian paid tribute to the late Mr. Salmond. MSP Fiona Hislop said, Alex Salmond was unique, with a drive and determination to achieve independence for Scotland, which never dimmed, and against all odds led his party, then government, and to give us all the chance to say yes to achieve it. Condolences to Moira, his sisters, brother, and all the family. MSP Angela Constance added, like all activists for independence in West Lothian, I'm beyond shocked and saddened by the sudden passing of Alex Salmond, a formidable politician who achieved so much against the odds and changed Scotland forever. Heartfelt condolences to Mrs. Salmond and Alex's family. Former SNP MP Hannah Bardell said, the news of Alex Salmond's death is both shocking and very sad. As someone who worked for Alex and to whom I owe much of my start in politics, I am struggling to find the right words. I ran his constituency office for the first 3 years he was First Minister of Scotland. I learned a huge amount from him and that job, and he also convinced me to stand for election when I had decided not to. Alec was also often described as controversial, but no one can deny he made a huge contribution to our politics, our nation, and the cause of Scottish independence. Today, I'm thinking of his lovely wife, Moira, whom I got to know well, and his family and friends who will be in deep shock. Tributes were also paid from across the political divide. Labour MP Kirstine Sullivan said, I'm shocked to hear of the sudden passing of one of Linlithgow's best-known sons. Alex Salmond was a key figure in Scottish politics for over 3 decades, serving communities as both an MP and MSP. My thoughts are with his family and friends at this difficult time.
Love at first sight pair in 11-month visa delay. A newlywed couple say their love at first sight marriage faced an uncertain future when an 11-month visa delay caused chaos in their lives. Bride Rebecca Ariua Hill, 25, tied the knot with husband Aladine Ariua, 29, from Algeria in May 2023. The pair, who stay in East Calder, met online through Instagram in 2017 on a dwarfism awareness page. They spent years communicating via text and regular video calls before they finally met in 2022, when Rebecca jetted off to the African country and Al proposed. Rebecca then brought Al back to Scotland, where the pair got married last year. But their new dream start to life in Scotland took a concerning turn, with Al's visa due to expire in a matter of months. The couple applied for a spousal extension on the visa, which would buy Al 30 more months, but the newlyweds endured an agonising 11-month wait for that visa to be approved. Rebecca has told how that plunged Al into uncertainty, leaving him unable to work or to claim for disability benefits, Edinburgh Live reports. She said, "We got married in May last year, and as soon as we had our marriage certificate and everything, that was the time to start getting documents together and prepare for the extension. The one he came over on expired in August 2023. So we had processed everything and got it sent before it expired. He didn't get given an appointment until November, way after the first visa expired. They were happy to take his passport and things at the appointment because obviously it wasn't our fault. That's the last time he saw his passport. It was in Glasgow on November 23rd last year. On the visa he came over on, he couldn't claim public funds. He couldn't work. We were totally stuck. This extension will allow him to work. The reason it was really frustrating us is that Al couldn't do anything. He couldn't work, couldn't claim disability benefits if he needed anything. The only formal ID he had was his Algerian driving licence. He didn't have his passport, obviously. We called the Home Office ourselves on September the 9th, called the number and went through all the options. It says on their website that if you've been waiting more than the expected time to get in touch. We finally got through, and the woman said they couldn't help us. All she could say was sorry. The couple told how they struggled to access support and felt like nothing was happening as they chased the Home Office over Al's visa. They had an appointment to confirm Al's biometrics in November last year, after his initial visa had expired, but was still left waiting for his visa up until this week. Home Office officials eventually approved Al's visa on October the 11th. A spokesperson for the Home Office apologised for the delay after the visa was granted. While the couple was over the moon at the eventual outcome, Rebecca and Al are concerned the stress will repeat when they have to go through the process again in 30 months. Rebecca said, "We are both so happy with the outcome of my husband's visa today. We would like to thank Edinburgh Live for all the help and getting a positive outcome for us. We will have to go through this again in 30 months, which does bring some stress thinking about it now. I hope in 30 months' time we won't be left waiting again or need to go looking for help for an answer." A Home Office spokesperson said, "We apologise for the delay in concluding this application. We can confirm that the application has now been granted."
NHS urged people to contact GP with cancer symptoms. People across West Lothian are being urged to be the early bird as part of the Scottish Government's awareness-raising campaign to empower people with possible cancer symptoms to contact their GP practice. In recent research conducted by the Scottish Government, more than 4 in 5 people in Scotland, that's 83%, said they would report an item missing from a delivery order within a day, but nearly a third, 32% of people in Scotland said they would wait days, weeks and even months to contact their GP practice about any unusual persistent symptoms. The research, which surveyed over 2,000 people in Scotland, also showed that 87% of people in Scotland say they would respond to an urgent text message from a friend within an hour, as opposed to more than 2 in 5, 42%, who would take days, weeks or even months to contact their GP practice as soon as they experienced a persistent hoarse voice. Another finding showed that nearly 9 out of 10 people in Scotland, 86%, would contact their GP within 2 days if their child or a child in their care was ill. However, if they had a persistent cough that had lasted more than 3 weeks, just 1 in 5, 21%, said they'd wait at least another week to get in touch with their GP practice. The Scottish Government wants to be able to tackle these issues with its Be the Early Bird campaign, which aims to reinforce the benefits of finding cancer at an earlier stage when there's more treatment options available, a greater likelihood of living well after treatment, and better news to tell the family. Des Clark, radio presenter, said, "The Scottish Government's Be the Early Bird campaign is so important as cancer is something that affects many of us in some way. The research proves that we all know to be true anecdotally, with many people placing greater importance on other things and allowing their health to slip down the priority list. I encourage everyone in Scotland to make sure they contact their GP practice if they notice any persistent symptoms or issues that are out of the ordinary. Your GP practice wants to know." Ross McDuff, Joint National Clinical Lead for Early Cancer Diagnosis at the National Centre for Sustainable Delivery, CFSD, said finding cancer in its earliest stages is really key to maximising treatment options. That's why it's so important that anyone who is experiencing persistent symptoms that are unusual for them contacts their GP practice so they can be assessed as soon as possible and referred, if appropriate, to the correct specialist. Whether it is you that has possible symptoms or a family member or friend, please don't put off making an appointment with your GP practice. If cancer is confirmed earlier, a much wider range of treatment options can be available and the body can respond better to treatment. Health Secretary Neil Gray said, "Early direction is crucial in cancer care. So I urge everyone to prioritise their health and make sure you contact your GP practice about any unusual persistent symptoms. The sooner we act, the better the chances for treatment and recovery. So let's be vigilant. If something doesn't feel right, don't wait, get checked early." Des Clark, breakfast radio presenter, resident early bird, and advocate for the campaign, recently took to the streets to share the research with locals who confirmed the research's findings. Many people in Scotland would put off contacting their GP practice and are likely to help someone else before themselves. To see the reactions of the Scottish public when Des Clark shared the research stats, please see the link here, https://www.youtube.com/watch. For more information around how to be an early bird and to use the symptom checker, please visit getcheckedearly.org.
By-election candidates revealed. Candidates have been announced for the upcoming by-election in the Whitburn and Blackburn Council Ward. The poll will be held on Thursday, November the 14th. Standing will be Aileen Brown, Scottish National Party SNP, Douglas Thomas Butler, Scottish Liberal Democrats, Cameron Glasgow, Scottish Greens, Charles Kennedy, Scottish Conservative and Unionist, Thomas Robert Lynch, Independent, David McLennan, Reform UK, and David Blackie Russell, Scottish Labour Party. The deadline for voter registration is midnight on Tuesday, October the 29th. If you are not registered, it's now very easy to do so. You can register online at www.gov.uk/register-to-vote or call 0131 344 2500 and the Electoral Registration Office will help with telephone registration. Alternatively, you can download a form from the Electoral Registration Office and send it to their address, Lothian Valuation Joint Board, 17A South Gyle Crescent, Edinburgh, EH12 9FL. Please allow sufficient time for mail to be delivered. The deadline for applying to vote by post in this by-election is 5 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 31st. Now we interrupt the news now to bring you the intimations.
And we have the deaths. Landell's Eleanor, 02/03/1938 to 07/10/2024. Peacefully at St John's Hospital on Monday the 7th of October 2024, Eleanor, aged 86 years, dearly loved and loving wife to Jim, much loved mum to Leslie and mother-in-law to Robert, cherished sister of Mary and Nan. Eleanor's funeral service will take place at West Lothian Crematorium on Friday the 25th of October at 1 p.m. Family flowers only, and donations to Chest Heart and Stroke Foundation, Scotland.
Lundy, Evelyn, Bathgate. Peacefully on the 21st of September 2024 at home. Lovingly remembered by her family and all who knew her. Funeral service at West Lothian Crematorium on Friday 25th October at 12 noon, to which all friends are invited. Family flowers only please, but donations to St Columba's Hospice, UK.
Macmillan Robert, Bob. Peacefully at home on the 30th of September 2024, Bob, aged 72 years, much loved dad of Robert, Bob and Barry, devoted granddad of Aidan, Cameron, Sophie and Joe, sadly missed by all the family. Funeral will take place on the 22nd of October 2024 in West Lothian Crematorium at 11 a.m. All friends are respectively invited. Family flowers only. A collection will be held in favour of Chest Heart and Stroke Scotland, Stonyburn.
And now we return to the news.
Appeal after 4 homes are robbed by Debbie Hall. Police officers are appealing for information following a number of break-ins on the same day earlier this month. On Thursday, October the 3rd, several properties were targeted and police believe that the incidents are connected. The first incident was when a property on Barn Place in Livingston was broken into between 2:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. Jewellery was taken on that occasion. Next, between 3:30 p.m. and 5:25 p.m, a property on Anderson Green, also in Livingston, was broken into and jewellery and cash were stolen. A property on Blinkbunny Gardens in Breich was then broken into between 4:30 p.m. and 6:35 p.m. Cash and jewellery were taken from this home. And between 5 p.m. and 6:50 p.m, there was also a break-in on Redlands Court, East Whitburn, although nothing was taken. Officers are treating these incidents as linked and inquiries are ongoing to establish the full circumstances. A red Alfa Romeo car was seen in the area of the break-ins around the time and detectives are appealing for further information. Detective Sergeant Keith Sinclair said there have been a number of break-ins in the West Lothian area recently and our investigation is focusing on these potentially being linked. I'd urge anyone with information or who has seen anyone acting suspiciously in the area to come forward. I'm particularly keen to speak to anyone who may have CCTV, doorbell or dashcam footage of a red Alfa Romeo vehicle in the area. Anyone with information should contact Police Scotland on 101, quoting reference 2406 of 3rd October. Alternatively, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111.
Man in court on Gary murder charge. A man has appeared in court charged with the murder of Gary Nicol in Livingston. The father died after he was found seriously injured on the West Lothian town's Bankton Lane at around 2 a.m. on Thursday, September 26th. Emergency services raced to this incident, but sadly the 50-year-old HGV driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Connor Manners, 25, appeared at Livingston Sheriff Court on Monday, charged with the father's murder. Manners of Livingston made no plea. He was remanded in custody while the case was committed for further examination, and he will reappear in the dock within the next 7 days. Meanwhile, Gary's heartbroken daughter, Taylor, paid tribute to her late father on October 2nd, which would have been his 51st birthday. Writing on Facebook, she said, "Today is your birthday, Dad, which makes this time even harder. I would like to think heaven has a pint of Tennent's and a wee glass of dark rum and cola waiting for you." On the evening of his death, it is believed Gary drove to Bankton Lane in his black Ford Mondeo car, registration G902GRN. He arrived at the scene around midnight before he was allegedly murdered. Detective Chief Inspector Jonathan Pleasance from Police Scotland's major investigation team told how Gary's family have been left devastated by his death. He said Gary was well known in his local community and his family is devastated. He was a father, a son, a brother, an uncle. His family at the moment are desperate for answers, and that is what we are seeking to get, and why I'm asking the public to assist us with our inquiries.
Police appeal. Police are appealing for information following 2 separate but believed to be linked housebreakings in Livingston. The first incident was reported to police on Friday the 11th of October around 8:15 p.m. that night. The occupants of a house on Chuckett Hall Road, Deans, returned home to find it had been broken into and 2 suspects still within. Startled by the family's return, the suspects ran from the house and into a neighbouring garden. The occupants were not injured but were very shaken by what had happened. Any information can be passed to the officers at Livingston Police Station.
Planning application lodged with Council to build 293 brand new Livingston homes. House builder Taylor Wimpey East Scotland has submitted detailed proposals for housing and landscaping for its development application in Livingston. The company has made an application for approval of details related to their planning permission in principle to West Lothian Council for the development of land at the former Brotherton Farm. The development will provide 293 new homes, of which 25% will be affordable. The submission sets out Taylor Wimpey East Scotland's detailed proposals for housing, landscaping and materials for the development. The proposals include a mix of 2, 3, 4 and 5 bedroom homes to appeal to a wide range of potential buyers. The affordable homes will be provided with a range of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes for social rent. Limefield Grove will include 9 acres of open space, a new linear park and an equipped play area. It will also provide a new pedestrian and cycle links to the existing networks around Livingston and green connections to Limefield Glen, creating a tranquil place to call home. Pauline Mills, Technical Director for Taylor Wimpey East Scotland, added, "We are delighted to confirm that we have made a detailed planning application for the development of land at Brotherton Farm in Livingston. The submission represents our significant and continued investment in the local West Lothian area, and we look forward to the positive discussions with the local authority to progress with this development. Our proposed development at Limefield Grove will also take an industry-leading approach to biodiversity with the introduction of bug hotels, bird and bat boxes, bee-friendly planting, and high-quality biodiverse landscaping throughout. In addition, each new home will include a high-performing building fabric and the installation of solar PV panels to help reduce the overall carbon footprint of the development. Along with an impressive range of new homes, our proposed development will also provide a range of economic benefits for the local Livingston area. This includes supporting new jobs for every year of construction and attracting new customers to local businesses from those who choose to live in one of the new homes and this development aims to deliver. We're going to take a break now, and the second part of the recording will start soon after that. And now we'll start section 2, which has some main news articles and also sports news and a few What's On in West Lothian snippets which are taken from the Bathgate Connect magazine.
Excite Olympics. OAP's excited about ageing. Opal and Excite Aging Well hosted the celebration event of the 2024 Games in Strathbrock Partnership Centre last week. This was the third year of Opal and Excite working together in partnership to pull this off. During Healthy Ageing Month in September, 28 teams took part in games across West Lothian from various community groups. The teams enjoyed a variety of games, including skittles, indoor curling, a beanbag game, and our new football shootout, which brought a lot of fun, laughter, and lots of friendly competition. Funding for the event was kindly provided by Lynn Smith from Smile Adventure with Dementia and the Des Ryan Fund, along with support from the Larder, who provided the scones, and Sky volunteers who were a great help on the day of the event. The event was a great success, bringing together all the teams who took part across West Lothian. The attendees enjoyed a seated exercise to start, followed by the awards ceremony and entertainment from singer John Davidson, who kept the dance floor full. A spokesperson said, "Each year our aim is to encourage people to move more and stay active. We look forward to next year." And there are some lovely pictures of some of the people who took part. There is a lady dancing, and she has a headband made of sunflowers, and she has a yellow ribbon in her hair and a yellow t-shirt, and she is dancing what looks like a very lively waltz with a man who's wearing a red t-shirt. And there are pictures of people sitting down, and they are quite busy doing exercises, the seated exercises, and they have their hands above their head doing stretches. And there is pictures of people being awarded medals, and the medals are on ribbons which are red, white and blue, and they've been placed around their neck. And there are pictures of the people from Sky who came along to help, wearing blue Smile t-shirts with a big yellow sunflower on the front. And there is a big cup which is being presented, I think, on behalf of the Opal and Excite Games, and it's quite a strange thing. It's like a balloon. It is a silver-coloured inflatable trophy with Opal and Excite Games on front of it, and lots of smiling, happy people who look like they've really enjoyed their day out and the scones and the exercise.
Spectacular Northern Lights. The Northern Lights fantastic. Very short article by Debbie Hall. People all over West Lothian and beyond were treated to spectacular views of the Northern Lights last Thursday evening and shared some of their stunning pictures with the Courier. The Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, are a stunning natural light display in the sky resulting from the collision of solar wind and magnetically charged particles with the atmosphere. The lights are mainly seen in Scandinavia. However, this year they've been visible multiple times across the UK. They've been visible across the world following a large solar wind erupting on October 9th. When these solar particles collide with Earth's atmosphere, it sparks a geomagnetic response which creates visible northern lights. And if somebody would like to explain that to me one day, that would be really good. There are 10 photographs accompanying this article, 2 of which we believe are taken from somewhere over Whitburn, and it's mainly sky, and on one side you've got blue sky, and you've got to remember this is at night time. You won't see these during the day. And then you've got a diagonal slash of green, and then a whole half a picture of pink edged in green. There's a photo of a cockpit from an aeroplane taken, and the lights, you can see the colours are just green. And next to that is a really weird little picture taken over a house, and it's almost like the sun in the sky, but it's red, really, really red, and green around it, and then kind of purple over the top. Then there's another picture of a woman with her dog, a miniature schnauzer it looks like, and she looks like she's got a red flame erupting from a tree, which is kind of like a halo round her head. That's a really good picture. So the Northern Lights apparently were fantastic.
Our mental health matters. This is another article by Debbie Hall. The biggest ever mental health event in central Scotland took place in West Lothian at the weekend. There were over 50 organisations and holistic therapists in attendance who all generously gave up their time to be at the event and showed their commitment and dedication to the worthy cause of improving mental health. The event was organised by the West Lothian Community Mental Health Team. The message for the event was, "Together for mental health, every voice matters," and services included addiction support, youth services, personal health checks, benefit advice, sexual health, education, parental support, lifestyle advice, employment advice, mental health support, free holistic therapies, plus much more. Organiser Lindsay Wood said, "I was very lucky to have a team of amazing staff from the CMHT that helped me to both organise and implement the event. The feedback was really positive, and we're hoping to make it an annual event. It was especially heartwarming to see lots of high school children taking part. And there are 7 glorious pictures of the various exhibitors at this event, and they all seem to have their leaflets spread out in front of them. And there's 2 particularly lovely ladies wearing white T-shirts. And on one T-shirt it says, "I am loved, I am worth it, I am amazing." And the other lady said, her T-shirt says, "I'm amazing, I'm beautiful, and I'm enough." And that's what we should all think about ourselves.
MSP wears it pink for breast cancer charity. Local MSP for the Linlithgow constituency, Fiona Hislop, has taken part in Breast Cancer Now's Wear It Pink campaign to highlight awareness for vital breast cancer research and support. The official Wear It Pink Day is today, Friday, October the 18th. Fiona said around 4,770 women are diagnosed each year in Scotland with breast cancer. We will all have a family member or a friend whose life has been touched by this disease, and this is why I am always pleased to support the important work of the Breast Cancer Now charity. In 2020 to 23, 73.9% of women attended breast screening when invited by NHS Lothian. However, the Scotland average for that period sits at 75.9%. I would encourage all women across West Lothian and Scotland to attend breast screening when invited, as research shows that when breast cancer is picked up at stage 1, or almost 100% of people survive. Fundraising events like Wear It Pink Day will help to raise vital funds for Breast Cancer Now, and I would encourage my constituents to wear it pink and donate if you can. And there's a super picture of Fiona holding up a placard that says, a pink placard of course, that says for life-changing support. She's wearing a pink fedora and huge spectacles edged with pink, like big star-shaped spectacles.
Team Jack Boost from Valneva by Debbie Hall. Valneva Scotland, the country's largest vaccine producer, has partnered with local West Lothian charity Team Jack, helping towards the organisation's aim to support young people with cancer. Based in Livingston, Valneva Scotland is providing year-long support to Team Jack via sponsorship at West Lothian Chamber of Commerce, giving the charity access to a range of additional support via the Chamber. This also includes Valneva Scotland's workforce, volunteering and fundraising for the charity throughout the year. Team Jack offers emotional support and practical support to children and young people aged 0 to 25 with cancer across Scotland. Services include music therapy, counselling and fun activity days. With headquarters at Jack's Den, Oakle House, Livingston, the charity operates multiple Jack's Den outreach hubs across Scotland, providing a lifeline for families to receive support, comfort and respite during difficult times. The partnership is a continuation of Valneva's relationship with Team Jack, with over 30 volunteers from Valneva participating in a revamp of Team Jack's headquarters in 2023. This effort transformed the space into a more welcoming environment for the young people and families who rely on its services. Valneva sponsors Team Jack to access the influential business network and support systems of the West Lothian Chamber of Commerce. Team Jack will be able to attend the Chamber's member events free of charge, enhancing their ability to form partnerships with local businesses and fostering growth of the charity. Greg Rooney, Managing Director at Valneva Scotland, said, Team Jack does incredible work for young people and their families who are impacted by cancer, and the whole team at Valneva Scotland is proud to be supporting its mission. We are committed to offering volunteering hours throughout 2024 and beyond, with our support forming a key part of our people strategy and wider ESG programme. We want to give back to help improve our local communities by playing an active role in championing charities and causes which really matter to our employees. Alison Barr, Chief Executive of Team Jack, said, Our services are a crucial lifeline for young people and their families during what is often the most challenging period of their lives, providing comfort and helping young people feel less alone on their journey. There are no words for how isolating and difficult it can be for young people who are faced with a cancer diagnosis. The support of organisations like Valneva allows us to offer more compassionate care and ongoing support, ensuring young people and their families do not face these challenges alone. Paul Hunter, Chief Executive of West Lothian Chamber of Commerce, said, Charity sponsorship is an initiative we encourage of our member organisations, as it allows us to provide a full range of support and services to our fantastic local charities, and we are delighted that Valneva have chosen Team Jack as their partner for this year. To find out more about Jack's Den and how to support its services, visit www.teamjack.org.uk, and there is a lovely picture of the people from Valneva Livingston sitting with the members who work for the charity Team Jack.
Surfs up as school kids ride waves. Article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian schools will be among the first in the country encouraged to get on board, with a chance to learn the highly individual sporting skills of surfing and skateboarding. Alongside the recently B-listed Livingston Skate Park, a major new pool surf resort means youngsters have surf breaking on their doorsteps without a trip to the coast. And it is hoped access to these recreational sports will appeal to children who have no interest in traditional team sports. The Education Policy Development and Scrutiny Panel heard that Active Schools, a partnership with Scottish local authorities and Sport Scotland, are currently working with the Scottish Surfing Federation, SSF, and Skateboard Scotland to develop a school-to-surf programme. The programme is being funded by the SSF as a pilot aimed at establishing a pathway into the sport in advance of the opening of the Lost Shore Surf Resort, LSSR, a £60 million facility being built in Ratho, which opens this month. The LSSR will be the most advanced wave pool in the Northern Hemisphere and represents the biggest investment in Scottish sport since the Commonwealth Games in 2014. As one of the closest schools to the LSSR, Calderwood Primary School in East Calder was chosen to participate in an innovative programme that will use surf skate or skateboarding to provide the foundation for a pathway to both surfing and skateboarding. Surf skating mimics the sensation of surfing. Paul Stark, CEO of the Scottish Surfing Federation, told the local Democracy Reporting Service the SSF is absolutely delighted to be providing this piloting programme to bring surfing into schools in Scotland. Thanks to the support of Active Schools, the Surf Skate Academy and the Lost Shore Surf Resort, we have a programme that will inspire, encourage and provide a pathway for its participation in surfing in Scotland. The programme is being fully funded by the SSF and will focus on 12 primary 5 pupils, 6 boys and 6 girls, who are non-participants in traditional sports. In addition to the SSF and Skateboard Scotland, the pilot programmes also includes involvement from Edinburgh Napier University, which will provide support to gather evidence on the impact of the pilot programme in terms of objective measures, how it develops balance and movement skills, and subjective measures as to how these sports can build confidence and well-being. The courses could be rolled out to more schools across the county. There is also potential to develop the scheme to include snow sports and cycling. Snow Sports Scotland has expressed an interest in supporting the delivery of an integrated pathway for board sports in West Lothian. Snow Sports Scotland has indicated a desire to support the delivery of participation sessions with a pathway into Nordic skiing in a similar capacity through the use of wheeled skates. This could potentially capitalise on West Lothian Council's investment in pump tracks and in the West Lothian cycle circuit at Linlithgow, which could provide a hub for such activities. Councillor Moira McKee-Shemilt, the Livingston councillor who first proposed the town's skate park, receiving the B-listed status it achieved earlier this year, asked if any of the school projects were linked directly to the facility. Matt Costello, acting head of Culture and Sport, said no direct links had been established to the Livingston facility for the pilot. Given the nature of skateboarding, there are no formal clubs at a local level, only the national body. He added, "We have an infrastructure of skate parks and facilities in the area. Hopefully, as the programme develops, there will be further opportunity to develop links." He said a mapping exercise of outdoor sporting facilities was underway as part of the Active Schools programme.
Pupils lead way to find abuse cause. And this is an article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian is pioneering a project in schools which aims to tackle the root causes of domestic assaults and gender-based violence in society. The peer-led project has senior high school pupils acting as mentors to those in younger years, putting mutual respect at the core of relationships. In challenging traditional stereotypes and attitudes and behaviours, the mentoring project is also facing down the burgeoning misogyny which boys and young men are bombarded with on social media. And while the Mentoring and Violence Prevention MVP scheme has only been running for 2 years, it has already brought wider improvements to behaviour in schools. Many report an end to the bystander mentality, with pupils prepared to engage with senior pupils and staff to prevent fights and classroom violence. The school's Education Policy Development and Scrutiny Panel heard that all but 2 high schools have the Mentoring and Violence Prevention programme running. Martin Beginnis, the Council's Child Protection Officer, told the PDSP, "We are one of very few local authorities in Scotland to have rolled the programme out across all our secondaries. MVP is a peer education programme created jointly by Police Scotland's Violence Reduction Unit and Education Scotland." Mr Beginnis added, "The programme seeks to improve pupil understanding of key issues related to gender-based violence, such as healthy relationships, consent, gender equality and negative stereotypes. It empowers young people with the knowledge and skills necessary to make positive decisions about their own lives, to challenge harmful attitudes and beliefs, and to safely intervene where a risk of physical or emotional harm may develop. Senior pupils undergo in-depth training to enable them to deliver a range of different MVP lessons to younger pupils within the school. Mentors can select different issues in order to best meet the needs of the pupils and the wider school. Senior mentors also become a trusted point of contact for younger pupils to approach, sometimes in relation to topics they may feel uncomfortable speaking to an adult about. Mr Beginnis said, "If we can get that right, then we can create a generation of young people who act respectfully in their own relationships as teenagers, and then when they grow to become adults, we might finally start to see domestic abuse statistics improving." Mr Beginnis said it was the hard work, willingness and commitment of the young people involved which is the backbone of the programme. He highlighted the feelings of one mentor from James Young High School who said, "When I was younger, I wish that there had been a me that I could go to and speak to about those things. I want to be that person for other young people." By the end of 23-24 session, 68 MVP trained staff were working across the 11 secondary schools, an increase from 38 from session 22 and 23. By the end of 23-24 session, 234 senior pupils were trained as MVP mentors across 11 secondary schools, an increase from 158 on session 22-23. In the last school year, 55 individual MVP lessons were delivered to pupils by mentors, compared to 30 lessons during 22-23. Winchburg Academy and Sinclair Academy, the 2 new high schools, do not have senior pupils, so are currently unable to train any of their own MVP mentors. However, they have been supported by MVP mentors from other secondary schools, visiting them to deliver the lessons instead. In the report to the PDSP, Mr Beginnis said, "The MVP programme seeks to help create respectful young people who understand issues such as consent and healthy relationships. They then grow up to become adults with those same values and are less likely to become perpetrators of abuse or involved in abusive relationships. Once embedded, the programme is also shown to improve other outcomes in schools, such as behaviour attendance and attainment through creating a more respectful and supportive ethos and environment. Senior mentors also develop important leadership and presentation skills which can contribute towards other qualifications. And there's a picture at the beginning of this article where there's a woman in the background in a blurred picture, but in the foreground there is it looks like a male's hand bunched as a fist.
Popular pub hits the market. A well-established West Lothian pub has hit the market following the retirement of the owners after 40 years in the trade. The owners of the Cavalier Inn, Armadale, have put their beloved pub up for sale after more than 4 decades behind the helm, with Right Biz advertising the business as having excellent potential. The spacious pub features a large function room, private car park, pool table and a fully licensed bar. It's on sale for a freehold price of £299,995, with current sales averaging £130,000 per annum. Describing the opportunity, Right Biz says, extremely well-run business that has been owned by the current proprietors for over 40 years. Retirement sale, trades all year round and has a good following of regular customers. It's well located. The large function, excellent potential, prominent location with potential for development, viewing recommended. The public bar, over 50 years trading, established public house in an enviable locale.
A big win for bus operator at awards by Debbie Hall. Lothian was named Bus Operator of the Year at the National Transport Awards in London. The award, which is open to all UK and Irish bus operators, celebrates the strong performance of Lothian over the last 12 months, which includes delivering an incredible 110 million customer journeys in 2023, including via West Lothian County. Sarah Boyd, Managing Director of Lothian, said, "I am absolutely delighted that Lothian have been recognised as Bus Operator of the Year at the National Transport Awards. Our people make Lothian a great place to work, and this award is a testament to their hard work and dedication to getting it right and delivering for our customers on a daily basis. This award belongs to them, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank every one of our people for their passion, commitment and loyalty." Lothian was also awarded the Gold Employer the Recognition Scheme Award from the MOD and picked up the Silver Award in Employer of the Year category at the Scottish Veterans Awards. In September 2023, Lothian announced an investment of over $24 million for 50 fully electric double-deck buses. And there is a nice picture of the people who were handing over the awards. They're all dressed very smartly in blue suits, and they're holding what looks like a saltire coloured certificate, which is blue and white, and the people who are receiving it from Lothian look very pleased.
Jobs up for grabs in Aldi stores. Article by Debbie Hall. Aldi is looking to hire new workers for its West Lothian stores in the lead up to Christmas, as the supermarket gears up for the festive season. With a wide range of permanent store positions available, Aldi is seeking team members to help replenish stock, assist customers, and maintain its high standards of service during the festive period and beyond. Roles on offer include assistant store manager, stock assistant, store assistant, and store cleaner. Starting pay for store assistants at Aldi remains the best in the industry at £12.40 per hour nationally. Aldi continues to be the only UK supermarket to offer paid breaks, which is worth more than £900 a year for the average store colleague. These opportunities form part of Aldi's continued growth plans to open a further 17 stores before the end of the year. This is in line with its long-term commitment to expand its footprint to 1,500 stores in the UK to meet increased customer demand. Kelly Stokes, Recruitment Director at Aldi UK, said, "Our mission is to make affordable, high-quality food accessible to everyone, and that is even more important at this time of year. Our colleagues are essential to ensuring Aldi shoppers have a great experience in store, and we're once again closing our stores on Boxing Day to give them a well-deserved break as a thank you for their dedication." Aldi has 106 stores in Scotland and employs more than 3,500 people. The supermarket chain opened its first Scottish store in Kilmarnock in 1994 and will celebrate 30 years in Scotland this year. Those interested in applying for a role with Aldi this Christmas can visit www.aldirecruitment.co.uk for more information.
Livingston FC's Davy is eyeing silverware. Boss wants cup win after reaching the quarters, and this is an article by Andy McGilvray. Livingston boss David Martindale has targeted winning the SPFL Trust Trophy and is desperate to give fans a cup final to look forward to. The Lions edged past League One side Inverness 5-4 on penalties after being held 2-2 in West Lothian on Saturday to go into yesterday's quarter-final draw as the Courier went to press. Martindale now wants to win the trophy, having reached the last 8. He said, "There's a cup at stake. Would I love to be the manager that goes and wins a cup at Livingston? I don't care what cup it is or what game, I want to take the fans to a cup final. Take the 12 teams out of the Premiership, and there are still 30 teams in Scotland that have to go and try to win a cup. We'll put everything we can into this to try and get as far as we can, and as far as we can in the Scottish Cup. It has been a good start for Livingston, who remain the only unbeaten side in the Championship, as they head to Ayr United on Saturday. A win would see Lions leapfrog Scott Brown's side into second, and Martindale has been pleased with their start so far. Martindale said, "When you look at Partick Thistle, Falkirk and Ayr United, even if you maybe throw in Raith Rovers, there's an away game. There as an away game. We've probably played 4 of the perceived top teams in the league away from home in the first patch of fixtures, which is tough, but we've picked up 5 points out of 9 and 3 clean sheets. We've had a fantastic start in terms of clean sheets, and we're going to demand that from them week on week, but you're not going to go through a season not conceding goals. If you're going to concede goals and win games of football, I'm quite happy to do it for the cup. I'm disappointed, but I've got to give the boys a wee bit of leeway. I want a clean sheet, but they've found a way to win." Martindale added, "If we can replicate that form in terms of the clean sheet and defensive record in the league, we'll give ourselves a great chance of picking 3 points up. But Ayr have added to their squad again. Striker Conor McLennan has come in, who played in the Premiership with Aberdeen, so it's going to be a difficult game. Scott and Stephen Whittaker will have them really well drilled, so it's going to be a really difficult game." And there's a little inset picture of a very happy David Martindale.
Rooney makes a rare outing at Racewall. Whilst the rain showers had stopped just prior to the start of Saturday's stock car meeting at Cowdenbeath Racewall, the drivers had trouble finding grip. Making a return to the Formula 2 fold was Greg Rooney from Newbridge, who last raced at the Racewall in 1994. Rooney finished in 6th place in the white-yellow grade series final and was 9th in Heat 2 and 10th in the Grand National, but, like a lot of other drivers, found grip hard to come by on a wet and greasy track. Local drivers were to the fore in the mini stocks, with David Philp Jr. from Bathgate and Owen Marshall of Blackridge visiting the winner's circle. Philip Jr. went through to win the Scrutineer Challenge Shield, his second trophy win in as many weeks, where he started from the rear of the field and carved his way through to record an easy win. Marshall then won the heat which followed, taking an early lead and then going through to win by a big margin, with Philip Jr. third. East Calder's Caitlin Mitchell started off with an 8th place in her first race, but was sent spinning out of both of her other races. Broxburn's Ben McClellan failed to record a top 10 finish during his first outing as a red top driver. Fellow Broxburn man Ian Lowe and Nicole Russell from Longridge were in saloon action. Whilst Lowe picked up a 10th in Heat 2 in the final, Russell finished just out with the top 10 in all of her outings. Evie McClellan, Broxburn and Iona Sibbald, Bathgate, were racing with their micro F2s, with McClellan 6th place in her first heat and then the final, while Sibbald was 9th in Heat 1 and 10th in Heat 2 and the final. This Saturday, the stock rods will share top billing with the micro bangers. The meeting starts as usual at 6 p.m.
Pitman is pleased to see striker hit milestone, by Paul Thompson. Broxburn Athletic striker Errol Douglas hit 20 goals for the season as Stevie Pittman's side marched into the 4th round of the South Challenge Cup with a 3-1 win at Thorn Athletic. The Brox hitmen grabbed the clincher after they came from behind thanks to Owen Wardell's double overturning a 4th-minute opener from the hosts. And Gaffer Pittman was pleased to see his star man, who had been the subject of a transfer swoop from League 2 Stirling Albion last month, hit a big milestone so quickly. He said, "That's Errol up to 20 goals for the season already. He got 30 last season, so to get 20 already is really good going. The team is playing well. We are getting everybody back from injury as well. It's just getting hard for me to pick the team now, but Thorn were a good side. Well organised and played some good stuff. They're a few leagues below, so we're happy to get through, especially with all the rain, hailstones and stuff we had to contend with. It was a tricky wee tie, but in the second half we were a lot better and deserved to win the game." Attention returns to Lowlands League action this week, and Brox were due to travel to Bowness United last night as the Courier went to press, before hosting civil service strollers at Albion Park on Saturday. Brox sat 5th in the table going into the Bowness clash, and Pittman was expecting tough clashes despite sitting ahead of the rivals, sitting 7th and 14th in the table respectively. He said, "Bowness are a tough side to play against, so we know we'll need to be at our best to get a result there. And Civil on Saturday are another tough one. They are well organised. Civil are a good side and there's not much in it between any of the teams. We might be expected to win it, but if we're not at it, we will get punished. Every team in this league can do that to you. We'll give them the respect they deserve. Everybody is tuned in and they know what they need to do. After that, we've got a big one with Auchinleck in the Scottish Cup, so it's a big couple of weeks ahead, but we're looking forward to it. We've got enough players in the squad now, and with everybody fit, that'll be able to make a few changes. Hopefully, everyone takes their chance and we keep on getting results."
Reds downed by Dunfermline. Linlithgow Rugby Club was given a good example of what will be required in National League 4 this season, as a late surge earned Dunfermline a 41-28 win at Mains Park on Saturday. The Fifers' 7-3 try count means the win is probably justified, but Reds will come out of this game thinking they could have won it. However, They are newcomers to this division and, with 3 wins and the same number of defeats, are sitting 5th in the table. Weather had been horrendous pre-match with heavy rain and gusty wind, but the sun came out just before kick-off and conditions were mainly dry, with the pitch holding up well. Dunfermline started strongly and scored a converted try after 2 or 3 minutes. Linlithgow were level within 5 minutes when Jack Frame got outside his opponent and made good ground before finding Luke O'Hara, who fed Murray Johnston, only for him to be held just short of the line. The ball was quickly produced and passed to Eoin McGee, who charged over for a try converted by Frame. Reds took the lead midway through the half when Frame wriggled through a gap and popped the ball to Ewan Mochrie, who powerfully carried a couple of defenders over the line as he scored, with Frame's missed conversion leaving the score at 12-7. However, in additional time, Dunfermline scored a converted try to take a 14-12 lead into the interval. Linlithgow started the second half well, and a great take by O'Hara from Connor Findlay's kick-off put Dunfermline in trouble. They conceded a penalty, and Frame stroked through the uprights. Mochrie then took a quick tap penalty and drove towards the line. The ball was recycled several times, and Ross Tulloch eventually carried over, with Frame's conversion putting them into a 22-14 lead. However, an all-too-familiar scenario befell Linlithgow in the final 25 minutes, when an inability to control the ball or territory and poor defence led to a 5-try response from Dunfermline. They continued to run hard at the home defence, which virtually disintegrated, especially out wide, where 4 of the tries were scored. Linlithgow scored 2 further penalties through Frame and entered the final 5 minutes only 6 points adrift. However, a final converted try put the game beyond doubt. Having played the top 4 teams in the division, Linlithgow have a run of games against sides that are currently below them in the table, starting with a visit by bottom side North Berwick on Saturday with a 3 p.m. kick-off.
Lansland ex Ger Danny. Another article by Paul Thompson. Livingston have announced the signing of former Rangers and Hearts defender Danny Wilson. The 32-year-old has joined his hometown team on a short-term deal until January 2025 to help ease the Lions' injury worries and prepare himself for a shot at a return to America, where he enjoyed a 5-year spell in MLS with Colorado Rapids between 2018 and 2023. Gaffer Davy Markendale is delighted to have a player of Wilson's calibre on board, with the centre-back having played in the English Premier League with Liverpool earlier in his career, spanning over 400 appearances for his club and country. And Martindale says it comes at an important time with injuries to duo Ben Jackson and Sean Donnellan to contend with. The Lions boss explained, after the update on Ben Jackson's ankle injury from parent club Brighton and Hove Albion being worse than we had anticipated, coupled with Sean Donnellan's only recently having his surgery, I felt we were a little bit short on our defensive numbers. Hopefully Ben will be back before the end of the calendar year, but Sean has a good bit still to go and looks like it will be more likely late in the season before his return. Danny has been training with us with a view to getting himself back to America, so a short-term deal at this stage suited both parties. He has been brilliant in and around the club, and I'm looking forward to him now being able to join up with the group, probably as a Livingston player. During this 15-year career, Wilson has 2 stunts at both Rangers and Hearts, while he also enjoyed spells with Blackpool and Bristol City down south. He was recently with Livy's Championship rivals Queen's Park, before becoming a free agent in the summer. Wilson could make his Lions debut in Saturday's big clash away at Ayr United, which sees 2nd and 3rd in the Championship go head-to-head. And there's a picture of Danny Wilson, who's about to have a short-term contract at Livingston.
And just a couple of little snippets of things that are on. On Saturday the 26th of October, Strings and Brass, the Linlithgow String Orchestra and Bathgate Band present a programme of concert favourites. This takes place in St Michael's Parish Church, Linlithgow at 7 p.m. Tickets available at the door, and they are £10, £8 and £2. So I guess there's concessions. And every Saturday at Bathgate Market and Car Boot Sale, Bathgate Outdoor Market, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Parking available in Gardner's Lane Car Park and Acredale Car Park, and access via Whitburn Road on the road between H&M and Home Bargains. And the West Lothian U3A, retired or semi-retired and looking for a new way to spend your free time? Why not try U3A? It's a UK-wide movement for retired or semi-retired people who wish to make new friends, continue learning in an informal setting and keep active. Most groups meet at Uphall Community Centre. No formal qualifications are required and none given. For more information, see the University of the Three Sites org.uk West Lothian, Facebook West Lothian U3A, or phone 01506 644 274. And that's us at the end of this week's recording. So when you've finished listening to it, please put the memory stick back into the folder and return it to us as soon as you can. Please remember to turn over the address label, leaving the cut-off corner at the top right-hand side. And with that, it's goodbye from me, Rebecca.
Goodbye from me, Joanne.
Goodbye from me, Sarah.
Goodbye from me, Jane.
Good night.